Hi everyone, I am back with another review. This time, in this video, I'm going to review ConvertKit. Um, it's an email marketing tool that I've relied on for many years for myself as well as for my clients. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a rundown about everything you should know about ConvertKit. Be it the top features, you know pricing, pros and cons, what do I think about it, and who is it best for. So stay tuned. All right, so ConvertKit is an email marketing platform. Basically, that's how it started out. It helps you grow your audience, engage with it, and monetize it. And that's how they basically structure their entire product around it. And it's been around for many years. It was started by this guy called Nathan Barry, who's a creator himself, successful creator. So there's a lot of subject matter expertise that came from him that got into the product. And because of that, it started developing its popularity among creators. So if you're, a creator or somebody who runs a content-driven business, or if if you're a blogger, YouTuber, podcaster, newsletter runner, like this is probably one of the best email marketing platforms available. And that's one of the reasons why ConvertKit calls themselves as a creator marketing platform. But we'll get to that in a bit, right? So let's kind of start out by just showing you how it works. So it's pretty simple to get started, right? So you can create a free account, and you can basically, I think, get up to 1,000 subscribers for free, which is quite generous. And then after that, they start charging you based on the number of subscribers you have. Um, and ideally, the it's if you're, let's say, moving from another email marketing platform like ActiveCampaign or MailChimp or something else, ConvertKit provides a free migration service. So they'll have an expert from their team you know look at your account and then basically transfer over everything onto ConvertKit. And I literally mean everything. So from all of your subscribers to all of your automations and workflows and forms, and anything that you can think about, they're going to transfer that into ConvertKit. So it's a minimum hassle for you were using like a day before the other email marketing software, and the next day you're using ConvertKit with everything inside in there, right? Which is pretty amazing. And I really appreciate ConvertKit team for doing that. And also like they have a very in-depth onboarding course and documents and videos and live chat people to help you out as you kind of get started, right? So when you kind of create an account, you basically hit a dashboard like this, okay? And it's basically it basically kind of gives you like a bird's eye view of, like, how many subscribers you have, what's been the growth, what's the scoring, who were the recent subscribers. So, like, fairly standard. Now what I love about ConvertKit is that it's actually a very easy interface. Let me just kind of increase the size a little bit so it's easier, right? They have a very simple to understand user interface, right? If you've looked at any other email marketing tools, you can spend so much time finding things and just figuring out the platform. You have to get on webinars to understand how it works, and these marketing automation platforms tend to get quite complicated, or definitely complicated for non-tech savvy users. But ConvertKit is surprisingly simple. So what they've done is they've basically divided their product into four aspects, right? So there's Grow, which basically talks about how to grow your email list, grow your audience, and every feature around that. Then you come to Send, which is how to engage with that list, right? So this talks about email sequences and one-off broadcast emails, and and newsletters, and all of that. And then the third thing is automations, where you can basically like reduce a lot of manual work. That there's often a lot of maintenance work and things you need to do to kind of keep your subscriber list clean, to move a subscriber from one campaign to another, to get more revenue out of it, right? So they basically have a lot of amazing automations that can kind of reduce a lot of your manual work. And then lastly, they have this, earn section, which is all of the products to help you monetize your content, right? It's almost, like a Gumroad plus Buy Me a Coffee plus, Teachable, like all of these products into one. And then the last section is really, like I said, the onboarding documentation is very in depth and very helpful if you want to kind of understand ConvertKit yourself. They actually have a nice community as well, and they also educate a lot about how to kind of build and grow and monetize your creative business. All right, so let's just get started on like some of my top features. I'll just take you through ConvertKit real quick and not take you through everything because a major platform, but take you through like the major aspects of it and how it feels generally, like how easy it is, right? So let's say, you got on board into ConvertKit. Now you need to, let's say, start collecting emails, right? So if you already have emails, you can basically go into subscribers here, right? And you can add subscribers individually. You can, get subscribers from, ConvertKit forms and landing pages, right? Or you can, add like a CSV file and it automatically imports the data. And like you see, import a CSV, or you can even import from another provider, right? Like from Mailchimp or something. They have some interesting integrations available to kind of help you out with that. Once you have your subscribers, in this list, basically, right? The second thing is, how do you grow this list of subscribers, right? So that's where they give landing pages and forms, right? So basically, you know just to kind of give you an example, forms are the simple lead generation forms, right? So the pop-up that you see on a page, or like a slide in CTA, or like a hello bar on the top, or I'm just trying to think of, or like an inline CTA, like these are the kind of options it gives into kind of creating these forms, right? So if I could just give you a quick preview about it. um, it basically, when I go on to create it, it shows me, should I create a form or should I create a landing page? So I'm going to create the form, and now it shows me the four formats I was telling you about, right? So you can choose, an inline, which is basically integrated into your content. There's a pop-up, which is probably the most popular one that people use. There's a slide in, which is kind of less invasive, and then there's a sticky bar, which is kind of right there all across, as you're reading through the content. Um, Now, when you're kind of setting this up, they also give you a lot of interesting customizations in how you want the pop-ups to show up. So obviously, depending on how you can show, like, CT or a pop-up when, someone scrolls to a certain page, to a certain percentage of the page, the pop-up will show up. If a visitor is on there for a certain number of seconds, you can display a pop-up. But the most important and probably the most powerful feature is the exit intent technology. And so basically what exit intent does is that if a visitor kind of starts showing an intent to leave the page, right, it automatically throws a pop-up, and that usually converts the highest for me. And I'm so glad that ConvertKit offers that feature and technology, right? And I would definitely urge you to kind of check that out. When you think about landing pages, this is essentially, if sometimes the CTAs are small, you can't really cover everything, right? Let's say you have, I don't know, a master class or a webinar that is being that you're about to host. You can actually create a landing page and then basically direct people to a certain page where they can be um, where you can basically give them more information across the page. So this is, if you can't put every information about your offer in a small pop-up, and in that case you can create like a nice landing page. And if you look at the designs, they're actually pretty nice, professional. um they're not like super visually stunning or whatever, but they're simple and they look good. They're not like bad designs. So if you see here, this is this is functional. This kind of helps you out. So you can see they've got a lot of options. Something for a webinar, and something for getting a free book. Something for a free consultation. there's a lot of things here, and you can also have multiple buttons in one place. You can also have an Instagram link, right? Like Linktree, and create a landing page, put it on your Instagram page, and then from there convert your Instagram visitors and followers into email subscribers, right? So through these landing pages and forms, you can build your email list, right? Now the next thing we kind of get to is, it's easy to kind of build and like build a growing email list, right? But it's useless if you're not engaging with them, right? And ConvertKit provides some awesome features to engage and send emails to your folks, right? So the first thing that I'm going to show you is sequences. So, and the reason why I'm showing is the way I usually work is that whenever a new subscriber joins my list, I usually have a subscriber onboarding sequence. And so essentially what it looks like is like these 7 emails over 7 weeks, where I basically convert, a cold subscriber into, a raving fan or a warm subscriber, somebody who now has a lot of idea about my expertise and has gotten value and is at a point where I can take them into different kind of funnels, right? And instead of like other tools have like all of these really complex visual automation builders and everything, um within ConvertKit, the sequences are actually the simplest I've seen in any email marketing tool, right? So I'm going to select a template. I prefer to use text only because it just seems like it's coming directly from me, right? And I just like that. But of course, if you're somebody who likes more design, wants to look more professional, wants to send emails as a team, you have a lot of options. These are my templates. There's probably like 50 or 100 pre-built templates that they have, and they have like a template editor that you can use to create your own template. Um, I won't get into that, like, you can kind of explore in here, but I'll just give you a preview of what a sequence kind of looks like, right? So this is a sequence. You've got, subject line. You can decide, after how long should this, sequence go, right? So let's say right now this is only one email. So after someone subscribes, they'll receive it in one day, right? I can add another email, which is like it's that simple, right? And then you can basically decide that, all right, send it to me 7 days after my last email, and don't send it on a weekend, right? So I remove that, and that's it. That's essentially how it works. And then you can add another email. So that's how the sequence goes. Super easy to create, and then you can have certain reports for every sequence, like how many people are reading, your sequence over time, how many are clicking on it, and then settings. Of course, there's a new sequence. You won't see any data in here. Um, so that's the first way to use to engage with your list, to kind of warm them, right? To take them from cold to hot, from cold to raving fans. Now you can also send, like a one-time broadcast. So let's say, for example, you're doing a Black Friday deal, right? Or let's say, you have a new course that's launching, or you have a sale going on. You can basically send a broadcast email. And you can also use this to kind of send like a monthly newsletter, right? Whatever works for you. So with the broadcast, you can basically, it's like a one-click thing, and you can basically send like a broadcast to, like a lot of people. What's cool in here, apart from all of the regular features, that you can actually A/B test your subject lines. And then basically, so what ConvertKit will do is it's going to take two lines, two subject lines, right? It's going to test, and then whichever subject line is the winning version, that email will be sent out more than the other one, and it'll also give you like results about how it works, which is a very useful, very helpful feature. And they've somehow incorporated in like the simplest way possible, because if you've used A/B testing tools, they can get very complex, but within ConvertKit, it's very simple. You can also, of course, add your own template, but it's a fairly simple and straightforward way to kind of, send a broadcast email. I'm just going to kind of show you what happens once you set up a broadcast email. It basically gives you, some options about, who you want to send the email to, if you want to preview it, if you want to send it to your email, and then when you want to send it, what the preview text should look like, and most importantly, I mean, it's helpful in collaboration if you've got multiple team members working in ConvertKit. You can have internal notes that, oh, Black Friday campaign, or, oh, 50% discount for this product, 60% discount for this product, all of that, right? Um, so that's the broadcast feature, right? Now, I mentioned you can have your own email templates or use, their pre-built templates. They actually have a lot of templates. And then the last thing, another cool feature that they have is snippets. And snippets are kind of like these common blocks that you can use in, your emails. Let's say, for example, you can create a block about, hey, sign up for my product, or hey, sign up for my list, or hey, this is, like an author bio, and then you can basically create a short code for it and then mention it every time, you're creating an article, right? So for example, my snippet is, my brand is called Early Stage Marketing, and I want this logo in every email that goes out on ConvertKit, right? So I basically have like a short code for it, which basically is snippet, .esm store, and then basically I just put this, small snippet in every email, when I start, and so like my logo automatically shows up, right? So there's no back and forth, uploading, an image and then, placing it there, and then, making sure it looks well and everything. ConvertKit kind of takes care of that. So that's the engagement module, right? Now I'm going to talk about another very, very cool engagement piece, which is actually in the automate section. So, I mentioned that ConvertKit allows you to automate a lot of manual tasks that come with email marketing. And one of my all-time favorite features of ConvertKit is the ability to automatically generate newsletters, via RSS feeds. So, when you obviously know, when you have a lot of subscribers, you need to constantly come in front of them, right? And, it can be difficult to curate a newsletter every single month, right? You got, like, it takes a while to, find the right posts, craft it into a nice newsletter. It's almost, like, a full-time person's job, right? You can actually automate that. So what it allows you to do is you can create these newsletter digests, which can connect to RSS feeds of your favorite blogs, to Reddit, to basically any website that has an RSS feed. You can add in there, and then it'll automatically create a newsletter and send it, at a day of your choice. So I'm just going to give you a quick example. This is an automatic newsletter created, of all my posts published every week. So I added my feed in here, right? And it automatically added this in here. And now if you preview it, what it looks like, this is a very basic example, but what it looks like is like this, right? So this is my weekly brew. It automatically takes my headline, email, everything, and then, creates this digest, which goes out automatically every Monday at 8 a.m. And I don't do, like, it's a, set and forget it kind of an exercise. I've set it up. Now my subscribers engage with it. Like, they constantly know about, all of the blog posts I'm publishing and everything. And I can make this a lot more useful, right? Like, I can add, RSS feeds of, some of my favorite blogs as well, right? Um, you know, Perhaps, Ahrefs or something, whatever, could be good. But yeah, I mean, like, this is a great way to set up newsletters. I used to use another service for this earlier, but then, ConvertKit added this, and I was like, you know what, this is so freaking cool. Like, this is amazing. Like, I don't think that there are very few email marketing tools that actually provide such a nice, simple, automated RSS driven digest, right? So something you can kind of consider using to engage with your list, right? Now let's talk about probably the more advanced automations, right? So ConvertKit provides two types of automations, right? The first is kind of like a visual automation builder, and this is super powerful and very easy to kind of get used to. It allows you to kind of, create, like, very complex automations, right? And now you can create your own automation, custom automation, or you can use their own templates, right? So let me just kind of show you some of the templates they have. They've basically covered everything. Like, they've covered a lot of workflows of creators, right? So for example, if you're releasing a new album, there's a automation for that. If you're running a paid newsletter, there's a automation for that. If you're growing your audience through Spark Loop, right? And by the way, Spark Loop is a tool that integrates with ConvertKit, and it's free of cost in your subscription. What it allows you to do is that if you run a newsletter, right, uh, it creates like a newsletter referral system. So if, let's say, you want to create a referral program where if a subscriber refers three more subscribers, they get access to, a freebie, like a book or something, right? And this is a great way to kind of grow your email list. And you can set up automations with Sparkloop. There's an automatic template in here, right? And there's things for everything. Welcoming subscribers to your newsletter, or upselling products, to people who've already bought, some of your products before. You can segment your audience. You can set up abandoned cart automation. You can promote a digital product, like pretty much everything. And if I'm to show you what the actual visual automation looks like, right? These are pre-built automations, so you can see that, but let me just show you uh, just an example of the automation builder, right? And now within automation builder, there are, you can have events, you can have actions, you can have triggers, you can have, ifs and buts, right? So for example, somebody completed newsletter onboarding, right? They can basically, you can set up conditional statements that if they receive, an intro email, or if they have a certain tag, then they receive, a certain sequence. If they don't, they have a certain, different sequence, and then you can add tags again, right? And basically, like I said, you can create these visual automations with three essential points, right? Like one is event. So anytime a tag is added or a tag is removed or a product is purchased, or a product is purchased through ConvertKit's commerce product, not through any other like you can't use Gumroad for product purchase, right? And then you can have custom fields. For example, if someone has company size of this number, you can do that. Um, then action is basically what triggers because of this event, right? So you can trigger an email sequence, you can add a tag, you can delay certain email, you can move a subscriber from one list to another. Lots of things you can do, and then you can set up conditions, right? If this, then this, like all of that, right? So this is a great way to kind of build like these complex workflows, right? Very useful if you're running like a, uh, you know, if you're promoting products, because it allows you to, dependent on how the subscriber interacted with your first email, you can basically take them down different sequences and somehow convert them better. So that's how the visual automation builder looks like. Now they also have like a Zapier kind of, you know, automation rules set up, and it's simpler than the visual automation builder, and it's for small things. When a certain trigger happens, an action happens, right? So for example, when someone subscribes to my subscriber onboarding sequence, you know, um, send them, or add a tag onboarded, right? Or when someone purchases a product, subscribe them to my upsell sequence, right? Like there's all of these different triggers, and it's like Zapier. It's fairly simple. You select purchase a product, you select subscriber sequence, you decide the provider, you set sequence, and that's it. The rule is set, right? So ConvertKit provides a lot of automation and in a very simple way, right? Um, and the last thing is, within the automations, you can actually have a lot of automations with other apps as well. So ConvertKit has a lot of native integrations with a lot of apps like Teachable and Shopify, and all sorts of other apps, like Shopify, Teachable, WordPress, WooCommerce, Stripe, Gumroad. I mean, I just noticed that, right? So perhaps if someone purchases a Gumroad product, you can set up those automations as well, right? And these are all native integrations, right? So they work really, really well. And they also have an integration with Zapier, which opens up 5,000 more apps to integrate with, right? If you don't know, Zapier is kind of like a integration, of API service. It integrates thousands of apps, 2,000s of apps. So with Zapier, it unlocks, a lot more apps that you can kind of connect to, right? And do that, right? So it can work really well and fit into your workflow, right? So if you're, let's say, a course creator using Teachable, you can use ConvertKit with it and not have to change things around, right? If you're using Podia, again, could work for you. So just something to kind of consider. And lastly, the last module that I want to talk about is ConvertKit Commerce, which is probably one of the newer products. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to monetize your content, right? So it's almost like you can basically set up products, right? Digital products, books, courses, services, all sorts of things, right? So just to kind of give you an example, um, the the kind of products you can set up and like the workflow, right? So you can either have a product where somebody pays you once and then has unlimited access forever, or you can have a subscription where let's say someone subscribes to a paid newsletter that you charge like I don't know $20 a month, and they will charge them regularly and give them access to that, right? Then you can set up a price, right? So a standard price, pay what you want, or split the price into installments, which is actually pretty useful if you have a course or a very expensive product. People can, instead of paying one time, they can split it into 3 months. And then you can like I said, you can have a digital download product, ebook. You can have a paid newsletter, or you can have like certain coaching services in that. And then basically add it to a custom domain, right? And then once you and it provides like a beautiful store experience, right? Like the templates are pretty good, looks very professional. And yeah, like that's essentially how ConvertKit commerce products work, right? Now, just something to remember that ConvertKit Commerce charges 3.5% fees flat, no matter how much the volume, be it $0, $1 million. Um, they'll take 3.5% fee for using the platform, which I think is fairly straightforward. Like, and I think it's okay because it's a free product. Gumroad charges, for example, 10% on every fee, right? So 3.5% is totally fine. And then on top of that, there's a you know Stripe's transaction fee of 3%, which is unavoidable, and that's with most platforms. Even if you use other tools like Podia or I don't know, Flowdesk, or other ones, all of those people also charge the Stripe fee. That's something you can't avoid. So yeah, that's their monetization model, right? Now the other thing that ConvertKit also provides is this thing called tip jars, which is essentially kind of like a buy me a coffee type of thing, right? Like if you want a donation from your users, you don't have anything to sell, let's say, but you, let's say, create a lot of great content and you just want donations, right? You can basically set that up, right? So the way it basically it's fairly simple to set up, right? So you just create, choose one of the templates, right? And then basically, like, let me just give you an example. You can basically have choose amounts: $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever. And then there can be like a checkout experience, then people can donate. And this is a great way to kind of just get some revenue going, right? To support your creator efforts. And then the last thing, which is another very very cool feature about ConvertKit, is that they have this thing called sponsor networks. And what that basically is it's essentially for paid newsletters, right? If you want to kind of monetize your newsletter, they have this exclusive ConvertKit only sponsor network of companies that are willing to sponsor newsletters, and they will find the sponsors for you and add it to your emails, and then you get whatever, you negotiate the rates and you get paid. So that actually reduces the headache of finding a sponsor, which is really really hard, right? And they have a good network of sponsors, SaaS companies, and a lot of technology enabled companies. So that's good, because those are like good folks to kind of be sponsors as, right? So anyway, that's entirely ConvertKit, right? Like that's how ConvertKit is an awesome platform, and I think it provides a lot of value for creators. Now, real quick, the pros and cons. So let me first talk about the pros, right? So I think the interface is very simple to use, right? Like I love it. It's not at all hard. It's everything's kind of obvious where it is, right? Which I absolutely love. I think ConvertKit is loaded with features, right? I don't think there's ever a time where I'm like, oh, I wish they had this feature, right? Like, because I think they've covered everything and still managed to keep the interface simple. I think, it's a very mature product, and it's something that it's a product that can, handle very large volumes, be it even if you have 1 million subscribers or 10 million subscribers, ConvertKit is able to handle that. And I've never seen, or rarely ever seen the product break. It works flawlessly. And another important thing is that they have amazing support. And so, if you have any question, you can ask them via email, live chat, instant support. They've got a community of people to help you out. And so basically, you have help anytime you're stuck, right? And then the last thing is, what I think what I like about ConvertKit is that the emails have high deliverability. So basically, anytime, you know, like if you send out a test email or even send out any email, right? Like it will be delivered to the primary inbox. It won't go into your spam, which is a problem with a lot of email marketing tools. If your emails don't land into the primary inbox, what's the point, right? And ConvertKit, does it every single time. Somehow their emails reach the primary inbox, and they have a lot of knowledge, documentation on how to improve your deliverability, but just something to kind of remember. Um, and yeah, I think that's majorly it. And I think ConvertKit is a great email marketing platform for creators for the long term. It's for the serious creators, the people who are willing to invest in their business, and it's going to be a good lifelong partner for you. Now let's talk about the cons, right? I think the first thing is the pricing is quite expensive. So let me just kind of take you through the pricing. So ConvertKit costs based on how many subscribers you have, right? So if let's say you have 1,000 subscribers, it's free up to 1,000 subscribers, which is great. But then as your subscriber list grows, the amount starts increasing, right? So for example, with 5,000 subscribers, it's $93 a month, right? Or $66 a month, depending on what plan you're using. And then, if you, let's say, go up to $55,000, the price increases to $316 a month, right? If you get to 100K, it's $566, right? So it scales as your number of subscribers increases, right? And it can get pretty expensive. But in my opinion, I think this is pretty common among all email marketing tools. Even if you look at, you know, MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or any other competitors, all of them have, a pricing that's based on the number of subscribers. Um, and when you compare with their pricing, it's actually on the lower side. So ConvertKit is actually definitely um, cheaper than them, and then provides a much simpler, much more modern interface overall. But I still think it's pretty expensive, right? So if let's say you're not a creator who's still making a lot of money, and if you have 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers to a free newsletter, and to pay $566 a month, I think that's quite steep. So I think that's a con. Like the payment is the pricing is a little high. Then I think the second thing is, I felt the reporting is a little basic. Like it's decent, but I think it could be better. So when you go into subscribers management, right, you can see all of the activity levels in here, based on, like whatever you want to see, like, are they engaged, how many emails they opened, what's the open rate, click rate, deliverability rate, purchases, all of that is available, right? But if I want to see more insights about what day of the week do I get the most opens, right? Or want to understand like which particular content upgrade is performing better than the others, right? Like I think those things are kind of, there are some ways to do that, but it's not meant for that kind of reporting yet, right? So I miss those advanced reporting insights to just decide when to send my newsletter, what to double down on in terms of kind of generating more leads, what kind of forms are working for me, like those kind of things I think they need to iron out a little bit. Then the third thing is, so they say that their support is only available in US hours, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. EST, right? I have, and I think that basically shows they're quite majorly focused towards the North American and Europe market, right? Um, so, if you're in Asia or Australia, right, it might be that you have to wait like, 8 to 10 hours to get a response, right? Which can sometimes be a bit of a annoyance, especially, if you have a very time sensitive newsletter to go out. So I think that is something that's there. And then I think I don't like the fact that their payment integration is with Stripe only, because Stripe is, like it works really well in some countries, and then it has a lot of regulatory issues with majority of the countries, right? And the more accepted, payment choice globally is like something like a PayPal or TransferWise, and they don't have that. They only have Stripe. Stripe is pretty common, but like, it's again, like, I think Stripe works really well for North American and European audiences. So I think it's probably more catered towards that, but I would have liked if they had a PayPal integration, right? Um, and then yeah, I mean, like, like, I think these are really like the major cons that I have. I don't think they're something about the performance of the product. If you're really looking for, like a mature product that delivers, like ConvertKit is exactly that, with a great user interface and all of that. And these cons are just kind of make you aware of, of what it is, right? Now, the last thing, should you take the creator plan, or is it worth investing in the creator pro, right? Now, I'll just kind of explain to you what's the real difference between them. I have a creator pro, and the demo that you saw was from the creator pro. They essentially have 90% of the features are the same. The only difference is, um, it basically gives you a newsletter referral system. So if you run a newsletter, and you want to kind of you're investing in kind of building out that newsletter, then the Creator Pro makes sense. The second thing is, it provides you subscriber scoring, which is a very useful feature. It's basically like a lead scoring, right? Depending on how active, this particular email is, if they open, every single time, your email, if they're purchasing a product, you can have like a list of highly engaged leads. And what it allows you to do then is that if there are subscribers that have never opened your email or rarely engaging with your emails, you can basically, set up an automation to remove those, right? So if anyone has a subscriber score of, let's say, less than 40, or whatever the terminology is for that, right? So it'll automatically delete those, and that allows you to kind of keep a high quality list without, increasing, your subscriber costs and everything. Because like I said, ConvertKit is pricing is based on number of subscribers, so it seems kind of a waste if you're paying for subscribers that are really not active or bouncing or all of that. And also, like, if, let's say, oftentimes a subscriber might hit spam on your email, right? And if that happens, ConvertKit actually has a feature where it automatically tags those subscribers as complained, and you can basically just remove those and again save out on costs, right? So this is a useful feature, and could essentially, make the additional cost of the Creator Pro worth it. And the last thing is, they provide more advanced reporting. It's fine, it's great, but um yeah, like, if you're somebody who likes to go super deep into, your numbers, this is helpful. It also unlocks what's working, what's not working, and it also provides you unlimited team members, right? So this is helpful, if you're a marketing team, if you have a team of, more than one person. In that case, um, this is helpful. It allows you to kind of collaborate and run a huge business, right? But I think in most cases the creator should be fine, right? If you just have a lot of subscribers, I would just consider Creator Pro just for the subscriber scoring, right? So that's my um assessment about ConvertKit. ConvertKit also has a lot of, other features that I haven't talked about, like, when you send an email to subscribers, right? And you accidentally put a wrong email, a wrong link in there, and then you have to send another email to kind of send, with the right link. That's not a problem with ConvertKit, because it allows you to change the URL of a link even after the email has been sent to that. They have, some kind of technology that allows you to change the links, even after the email is sent, which is very, very helpful, right? So, and there's a lot more, features, like, you can set up Facebook custom audiences. You can, get a lot of different value out of it. But overall, I think ConvertKit is a solid yes. I think it's a great tool. It's a great take to email marketing, and I think it's built for creators, right? So if you're a creator, you shouldn't consider any other tools except ConvertKit. And I've used this with a bunch of SaaS marketing teams as well, right? And we found a lot of value out of it too, probably more than other marketing tools like Customer IO and Active Campaign. Um, just because it's so simple to use, and it allows you to scale your subscribers and blogs, and get a lot of revenue out of it. Anyway, I hope that this review was helpful, and if this review was helpful to you, please consider signing up to ConvertKit, through my link below. It will not cost you anything extra, but it'll allow me to create more of these videos to help you out, make a decision if you should buy a software or not, if you should buy, uh, you know, software A or software B. Like, I create a lot of content on this channel, so yeah, consider signing up through my link. And of course, if you want to kind of follow more, I talk a lot about software comparisons, software reviews. I talk a lot about SaaS marketing. So if any of this gels with you, please consider subscribing my channel as well. Anyway, I wish you a great day, and thank you for watching this video. Take care.